Looking for the top tips to get the best out of making Swiss meringue buttercream for the first time? In this video, I am handing you the 10 best tips to help you make Swiss meringue buttercream, especially if you're a beginner. I already have a detailed video on this channel on how to make Swiss meringue buttercream, which is linked in the description box for you, so feel free to check that out. But for the tips, number 1, look up and read for some information on Swiss meringue buttercream so to gain some understanding on the subject matter. This will inform you about the science, process and recipe, which will prove useful for best results. Watching detailed useful videos fall into this category too. Tip number 2, follow the process. In my video on Swiss meringue buttercream, I noted this kind of buttercream is tricky to make, and unlike French or American buttercreams, Swiss meringue buttercream is adaptable and doesn't tolerate change very well. Hence, it's important to follow the exact recipe and process as prescribed for best results. Disregarding the process or making uninformed changes could lead to challenges as well as changes to stability and mouthfeel. Tip number 3, degrease all tools. When making Swiss meringue buttercream, ensure all your utensils, including mixing bowl and various attachments to be used in the process, are all degreased to rid of any oil or grease. And this also includes egg yolks, which contain fat. This interferes with meringue formation by inhibiting the egg white proteins from bonding together. So clean all tools with some vinegar or lemon juice before use. Tip number 4, separate egg whites cleanly when cold. Egg whites are easy to separate when cold, preventing the yolks from breaking into the egg whites. Remember, egg yolks contain fats that will interfere with the meringue formation, so cleanly separating your egg whites from yolks is to be done carefully for best results. Now, tip number 5, check your top bowl. When using a double boiler in making Swiss meringue buttercream, ensure the top bowl containing the egg whites isn't touching the simmering water underneath. When making Swiss meringue buttercream, it is advised cooking the egg whites is done using steam instead of direct heat. So a saucepan of water is placed over direct heat, and a heat-proof bowl, mainly in stainless steel or glass, is placed over the saucepan. To prevent the bowl from falling into the saucepan of water underneath, it is also recommended the bowl is larger than the saucepan so it can sit over the saucepan without touching the boiling water underneath. This will ensure the egg whites don't cook to become scrambled egg whites, but will warm up slowly to a temperature of 165 degrees F, or the equivalent temperature in Celsius. Tip number 6, keep stirring. When cooking the egg whites, stir consistently and observe for changes. Often at times while engaging in tasks, it is tempting to multitask, but Swiss meringue buttercream is an all attention on board process, so resist the temptation to do anything else and stir consistently, observing for changes. At the beginning, the egg whites will appear cold, hard to stir and viscous. Throughout the process though, changes will occur, making the egg white translucent, easy to stir, and will have a frothy film of foam on the surface. Once the temperature is 165 degrees F, transfer into a mixing bowl ready for whisking. Then comes tip number 7, whisk to stiff peaks. When the egg whites are cooked and transferred for whisking, ensure the meringue is whisked to stiff peaks, which is when the meringue is standing up straight with a beak on the whisk. Meringue goes through different phases, starting from soft peaks when the meringue curls over itself. At medium peak, the meringue only curls slightly, forming the shape of a sickle on the tip of the whisk, and at stiff peak, the meringue is stiff, with the volume and quantity double to what was started with. This takes about 10 to 12 minutes to form using a stand mixer running at maximum speed. Tip number 8, make sure the meringue is cool to touch before adding butter. Most Swiss meringue buttercream recipes will recommend adding butter once stiff peaks are formed, but it's important for the meringue to be cool to touch at stiff peaks, which can be achieved during the whisking process. But depending on the process you use, it's also possible the meringue can be at stiff peaks and still be warm to touch. So to prevent this from happening, place a towel over the meringue or wrap the bowl of meringue in cling film and set aside for 10 to 15 minutes until it's completely cool. At number 9, the consistency of your butter is key to best results. Having gone through 8 prior tips to getting the best results in making Swiss meringue buttercream, it's worth noting the quality of butter used is key to achieving best results. such as stability and mouthfeel. Butter with a high percentage of fat will impact taste, so my best recommendation is to use good quality butter. Also, on the subject of butter, ensure your butter consistency is spreadable and not too hard or too soft. A good example is this butter here, which is hard when pressed in the middle. This was left to come to room temperature, but due to cold weather conditions, the butter is still cold. When swapped for spreadable butter, this is the consistency we are aiming for, soft enough and yet can hold its shape without looking too soft or shiny in appearance. At tip number 10, add a bit of icing sugar and salt to your buttercream. These will both enhance taste. Sugar will make your buttercream a little sweet whilst also cancelling out the buttery mouthfeel of this buttercream. Salt will enhance the taste profile while also balancing the sweetness, which in this instance adds body to your buttercream, adding to the stability of your Swiss meringue buttercream. I know Swiss meringue buttercream isn't meant to be sweet, so the quantity of sugar to add ranges on a spectrum. I find anything between 50 to 100 grams depending on the recipe and quantity won't impact on the sweetness at all, so perhaps this is the only adaptable element of making Swiss meringue buttercream. The full video on how to make Swiss meringue buttercream packed with useful tips and practical ways to achieve the best result from making Swiss meringue buttercream is showing right on screen for you to watch, as well as another video I think you'll enjoy. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.